This is Punchlines with Shane McMurdo. I'm your host. I'm extremely excited to be here today. I'm fucking freezing. My fill-in co-host, Jose, from the great page on Instagram and YouTube, Mo Boxing No Problem. Daily content, weekly interviews, multiple weekly interviews with many fighters from different levels all over the sport. Awesome content creator, awesome dude. Thank you so much for being here, Jose, man. What's good, bro? What's good on your side of the world?
Man, just happy to be on. Thanks for inviting me and ready to be the translator for tonight.
Hell yeah. And little spoiler alert, he's not just going to be helping me co-interview our guest today. He will be serving as a translator. And I've been wanting this interview for a little over a year now. I'm so glad I finally got it. Not going to tell you who it is yet. Real quick, I got to do ad reads. You know my guys over at Feast Mode Flavors, the #1 meal prep seasoning in the game. If you guys are trying to gain weight, to bulk up, lose weight, if you're training for a fight, or if you just want to cut, or just overall be healthy and you want a sugar-free, low-sodium, great-tasting seasoning, I've been using them for a while now. That's why I asked them to sponsor me. They got flavors ranging from all over barbecue, Cajun, to even the new flavor, raspberry chipotle. And they got your sweet ones too for in the morning to have with like oatmeal and everything like that. And go ahead and use code PUNCH10 to get 10% off. And lastly, I'm a big coffee drinker. Do you drink coffee, Jose?
Yeah, I drink coffee.
Yeah,
Sure.
bro. These guys, they're not too far from where you're at. They're not too far from NorCal. They're called Chimera Coffee. They're organic coffee, but they're infused with nootropics. That's that shit Joe Rogan's always talking about, like what's inside that Alpha Brain pill.
Mm-hmm.
They're not affiliated with him or them or like Alpha Brain, obviously, but nootropics, it helps you with memory and attention and focus and everything like that. They make ground coffee and K-cups. They're very affordable, great tasting, and you'll feel very alert in a very healthy way. And they're going to give you guys 15% off if you use code PUNCH15 on their website. It's Chimera, Kimera coffee with a K. Check them out. That being said, we got a big interview today. This guy is the face of what Dominican boxing in the current era, the resurging Dominican boxing, by the way, you just saw Hector Garcia fight Tank Davis on pay-per-view. You saw Edwin de los Santos upset Rayo last year, and even guys like Michel Rivera, who's a top 10 lightweight. Very big era for Dominican boxing and very talented. And this guy is probably the best and the scariest of the bunch. He's coming fresh off of a knockout of Fernando Montiel, of course, who went the distance with WBC champion Jermall Charlo. And just today, Showtime even said that they want our guest to fight Charlo before this year is over. But before he does that, he has a tough test in front of him on June 24th against former unified junior middleweight champion Julian J. Rock Williams. And he is none other than the face of Dominican boxing, Carlos Caballo Blanco Adames. Thank you so much for being here, bro.
Muchas gracias, Carlos. ¿Cómo estás hoy en día?
Muy bien, gracias a Dios. Muy contento, muy feliz ya de regresar de nuevo al campo de entrenamiento con vista a mi pelea, que es una gran pelea. Enfocado, me siento muy bien, gracias a Dios, de salud y vamos con todas.
And they say he's doing well. He wants to thank God for his health, and he's back in camp in training, preparing for his next fight.
And where is he at camp at right now?
Ahorita, ¿dónde estás entrenando?
Ahorita estoy entrenando en Las Vegas con mi entrenador Bob Santos.
So he says he's currently in Las Vegas training with Bob Santos.
Yeah, Bob Santos, fantastic trainer with yourself, Hector, Mario Barrios, Omar Juarez, just a great stable down there. How do you like running up to Mount Charleston?
Dice que cómo te gusta correr en Mount Charleston.
Oh, me gusta, o sea, se corre bien, me gusta. Bob Santos sabe cómo adaptarnos a la carrera y me gusta.
He likes it. Bob Santos knows how to run that pace, and it's a good mountain to run.
Yeah, it's tough, bro. I've hiked it. I haven't ran it. It's tough, but we're about a little over 3 months out of the fight. But it's been almost a year since he fought, and he's fighting another former champion. Just how, compared to his other fights, how important is this one?
Sabemos que todavía falta aún como unos 3 meses para tu pelea. y ha sido casi un año que no te han mirado en el ring, pero comparado a tus otros oponentes, ¿qué es tu opinión de esta pelea contra J-Rock?
Bueno, mi opinión contra esta pelea, no pienso que no lo puedo subestimar, porque como podemos saber, es un peleador que fue 2 veces campeón del mundo en la 154, obvio. No ha tenido el mismo desenvolvimiento después que fue campeón, ha tenido una baja en su carrera, pero ya tenemos que acordarnos que es un nuevo peso para él, es un peso de 160, es un nuevo peso para él. Me imagino que viene más fuerte, viene más preparado y más concentrado porque sabe que la división que acaba de subir es una división bien complicada, o sea, y comenzando por mí, creo que le han puesto el rival más duro de la 160.
Yeah, no. So he says, it's definitely a fight he cannot underestimate. J-Rock is a tough fighter. Former WBC champion at 154 pounds. So you can't take him lightly. But J-Rock's also moving up in weight at 160. New weight class for him. So he's in for a tough fight himself. And he personally feels that J-Rock's going to be facing the best 160 pounder.
It's tough to argue with the way he beat Montiel, the way he beat Derevyanchenko. Is having fights, not just fights, but wins, good performances, especially against Montiel, against guys of that caliber. I'm sure that's got to add to your confidence in this Julian Williams fight upcoming, because do you feel like you have faced the better opposition recently than he has, and that's just another advantage in your side?
No, pues estamos de acuerdo que eres uno de los mejores en la 160, especialmente con tus peleas como ganaste contra Montiel, como ganaste contra Derevyanchenko. ¿Crees que esas peleas recientemente te dan confianza para esa pelea contra J-Rock y piensas que tus oponentes han sido mejor recientemente?
Bueno, vamos a decir que sí. No agarro tanta confianza porque yo no me confío. Yo siempre trabajo al 100, me preparo al 100 como si fuera a pelear con el más grande del mundo. O sea, yo siempre voy bien preparado porque no me gusta subestimar mis rivales. O sea, me gusta ir bien preparado y pienso que yo he enfrentado los últimos rivales que he enfrentado así más fuerte que él, pero como quiera, es un rival responsable y me imagino que un rival que también se prepara bien.
Yeah, no, he says he's confident, but not overconfident. He always likes to be well prepared in the ring leading up to a fight. And he respects J-Rock as a fighter. He also thinks he's another great fighter that's also preparing, not taking him lightly.
Yeah, he's a very crafty fighter, very technically sound, and he's not an easy fight for anybody. And Jermall Charlo knocked him out. He was the first one to give Julian Williams a loss. He is the champion. And he will be your third opponent that you have in common with Charlo. And do you think that, they announced it today, but do you think the collision course between the two of you is inevitable?
Y hablando de J-Rock, una cosa que tienen en común es que él ha peleado contra Jermall Charlo, y creo que J-Rock es el tercer oponente que tú vas a pelear que también ha peleado contra Charlo. Miramos hoy en día que Steven Espinosa de Showtime anunció que posiblemente hay planes para ti contra Charlo al fin del año. ¿Crees que tú contra Charlo es una pelea que va a pasar con el tiempo?
Bueno, las negociaciones siempre han estado ahí sobre la mesa. Yo estoy listo. Yo estoy listo para si la quieren cambiarnos para final de diciembre, si para el 24 si para el 24 también la quieren poner, la pueden poner. Yo estoy listo. O sea, yo solamente estoy esperando los momentos de preparación para salir por mi victoria. Yo voy por mi victoria, voy por mi objetivo. Mi objetivo ahora mismo es arrebatarle la corona a quien la tenga. No estoy pensando en nombre de nadie, que no, lo mío es lo que es el boxeo, y yo hoy, gracias a Dios, voy bien preparado para obtener mi gran resultado.
Yeah, no. So he says that the Charlo fight's always been on the table. He's definitely open to negotiations for that Charlo fight. Whether that's at the end of December, as Espinosa was saying, or they can change it even for June 24th and make Charlo his opponent. He's open and ready to fight Charlo. But ultimately, he's just looking to impress in his next performance. He's not thinking about any specific fighter. He just wants to do his job and make a stand-up performance in the sport of boxing.
Hell yeah. And you're not just a regular boxer, you're a very talented boxer, but as I mentioned before, you are from the Dominican Republic, and it's one of the best eras for Dominican boxing. And a lot of people call him the face of that, call you the face of that. Does that distinction, that title, is that something that you take a lot of pride in?
Carlos, eres un boxeador especial. No solo sabes boxear, pero también tienes una buena pega. Y ahorita estamos mirando que los dominicanos están haciendo mucho ruido en el deporte de boxeo, muchas estrellas, y muchos te consideran a ti como el número uno de los dominicanos que están ahorita boxeando. ¿Qué se siente de que la gente te considere ahorita la cara del boxeo dominicano?
Bueno, ¿qué te digo? Yo siempre he considerado a mi compañero igual que yo. O sea, yo nunca me he visto superior a ellos, siempre lo he considerado igual que yo. El público lo dice, yo lo acepto porque el público lo dice, pero yo de mi boca nunca va a salir a decir que yo soy el mejor de la República Dominicana, porque nosotros tenemos mucho talento buenos en la República Dominicana y fuera de la República Dominicana también que van a ser campeones del mundo y van a ser grandes peleadores. Lo único que estamos haciendo es cambiando la historia del boxeo de la República Dominicana, poniendo el boxeo de la República Dominicana en el ojo mundial, que es lo que hemos soñado siempre, de que nos tomen en cuenta como toman en cuenta un mexicano, un americano y cualquier boxeador de cualquier parte del mundo. Y eso es lo que estamos haciendo ahora nosotros, haciendo nuestro trabajo. Le doy gracias a Dios por eso y para adelante.
Muy bien. So he says he always considers his fellow Dominican boxers on equal footing, as peers. He'll never say that he's above them or he's the best from the Dominican Republic. The fans and the people are saying that about him, great, he'll make them feel happy, but they're each kind of doing their part to raise the Dominican boxing scene on the world stage, and it's ultimately kind of been the dream is for a Dominican boxer to be in the same breath as a Mexican boxer or American boxer, and he's just really happy with all the Dominican boxers' performance, and he's really excited for what's to come.
And I've living on the East Coast, I met a lot of people from DR and heard what it's like growing up there, and I know it's not easy. Most places where boxers come from, it ain't easy to grow up, but now that their boxers are on the rise, not just in stature in the sport, but popularity as well. Do you think growing up there and coming from that and being overlooked kind of as a boxing country in general, is that something that kind of helped him prepare for this world title run that he's in the middle of being on?
Yeah, y pues sabemos que no es fácil el inicio para los boxeadores. Shane, él también creció allá como por Nueva York y sabe qué tan difícil es la crianza. ¿Crees que en tu experiencia, tu crianza y tus dificultades creciendo te han ayudado a llegar a este momento y poder contra cualquier cosa que te ponen enfrente de ti?
Sí, así es. Yo, mi gran parte de boxeo también tuvo en tiempo en la República Dominicana. Fui miembro de la selección nacional del país de la República Dominicana. O sea, me mudé a Nueva York y comenzó mi carrera boxeo profesional. Pero todas mis raíces, de donde vengo, todo lo que ha luchado, todo lo que ha pasado, ha marcado mi vida para convertirme en un campeón duradero, o sea, no un campeón del momento. Y por eso yo estoy preparado para cualquier reto. Yo no, o sea, no ando diciendo que estoy preparado para cualquier reto sin ser cierto. Yo estoy preparado para cualquier reto con quien sea y cuando sea.
Yeah, no, and he says, of course, it's about experiences and upbringing. He attributes a lot of his success to also being from the Republic and being part of the national team in DR. And all the difficulties he's had experiencing are nothing now in comparison to what he has in boxing. So when he says that he's ready for anything and ready for whatever, it's because he's had those experiences and that upbringing that he can say with confidence.
And like we said earlier, a lot of people call him the face of Dominican boxing, but he's in a division right now where the quote unquote faces of it, Golovkin is well on his way to retirement. Charlo hasn't fought in over 2 years. Is it his time to become the face of the historical middleweight division in boxing?
Y como dijimos anteriormente, muchos te consideran a ti como la cara del boxeo dominicano, pero si hablamos ahorita de tu división en las 160 libras, no hay una cara clara en la división. Golovkin ya está de edad y está en sus últimas peleas. El otro campeón, Germán Charlo, no ha peleado en como 2 años. ¿Crees que ese es tu momento de poner ahí tu nombre como la cara de tu división?
Sí, no hay una cara, no hay una cara porque todavía no me han dado la oportunidad necesaria. O sea, Germán Charlo no toma la decisión de enfrentarme, Gennady Golovkin tampoco, Janny Beck tampoco. O sea, ninguno de ellos toma la decisión real que tienen que tener para enfrentarme. Yo creo que, incluyendo eso, ya que ellos no toman decisiones ninguno de enfrentarme, de pararse frente a mí adentro de un ring, yo pienso que ahora mismo la cara de la división de las 160 soy yo, definitivamente. O sea, y yo me enfrento con ellos cuando ellos quieran. O sea, yo no tengo retroso. O sea, yo estoy preparado para ello, psicológicamente, mentalmente y físicamente también. O sea, yo cuando ellos digan, yo estoy aquí.
So he says there isn't a clear face in the middleweight division right now because no one is accepting to fight him. Charlo won't fight him. Triple G won't fight him. Janny Beck won't fight him. He strongly considers himself to be the face of boxing, and he's ready to kind of let the world know.
And it's not just that they won't fight him, bro. They won't even say his name. Like when anybody gets called out at middleweight, is Golovkin, Charlo, Jaime Munguia. People don't call out Janibek, but none of them, not a single one of them, will ever say his name. Why do you think other middleweights are afraid to fight you?
Y no solo que no te pelean, ni te mencionan cuando están hablando de futuros oponentes. Dicen siempre Golovkin, dicen a Charlo. ¿Por qué crees que esos boxeadores te evitan nombrarte y parece que te tienen miedo?
No, porque es que ellos saben quién es su película de terror. La película de terror que ellos no quieren ver es a mí. O sea, por eso no me mencionan, pero yo sí lo menciono a ellos para que ellos sepan que yo estoy detrás de ellos. Ellos o van a tener que mencionarme o van a tener que dejar los títulos vacantes para que me lo entreguen a mí todo. O sea, me hagan el rey de las 160. De lo contrario, o van a tener que subir de peso, van a tener que hacer algo porque como quiera van a tener que enfrentarme porque yo estoy ahí. Yo existo. O sea, no es una persona que está hablando detrás de una máscara. Yo estoy aquí frente a ellos y disponible para lo que sea.
Yeah. So he says, the reason they don't mention him is because they know what's up. They know that he is their horror film. He's their nightmare, and they'll know what happened if he, would face, a fight like Adames. But Carlos is, he's willing to name and drop them, so they know that he's after them. And sooner or later, they're going to have to fight him. Either that, or they're going to have to move up in weight, or get their titles. But Carlos is, bringing the fights, and he's willing to fight with them, and eventually, he'll be champion.
And this fight coming up on June 24th against Julian Williams, it is a main event. He is finally headlining a Showtime card, and it's going to be a chance for the whole world to see him. And that opportunity's got to be something he's excited for.
Yeah, pues hablando de oportunidades, en la próxima que tienes contra Julian J-Rock Williams, esa va a ser la pelea estelar, el main event en una plataforma grande como Showtime. Eso se ha de sentir muy bien.
Sí, se siente muy bien. No menosprecio a Julian Williams, es un gran peleador, como te dije ahorita. Pero a mí me gustaría saber qué se siente estar frente a Jermell Charlo, Triple G, o sea, Jaime Munguia, que son peleadores. No, vuelvo y te reitero para que no me malinterpreten mi palabra. Julian Williams es un gran rival, pero yo pienso que los rivales que acabo de mencionar son rivales más riesgosos, vamos a decir, que sí la gente va a decir, concho, está interesante la pelea. Entonces me gustaría verme en Showtime, en primera plana, contra Jaime Munguia, contra Jermell Charlo, contra Gennady Golovkin, Janny Beck, o sea, con cualquiera de ellos. Yo estoy dispuesto a enfrentarlo cuando sea.
Yeah, no, he says it definitely feels good. It's exciting to be a main event in a platform like Showtime. He says no disrespect to J-Rock, you know, he's a great fighter in his own right. But he thinks there's riskier fighters out there that would make this opportunity even more worthwhile for him. You know, like a Triple G, a Charlo, a Jaime Munguia. You know, he wants to eventually be the main event with those guys. You know, but for the time being, he's, you know, excited for the opportunity to fight J-Rock as the main event.
Yeah, well, Julian Williams is a fantastic fighter, regardless of his losses. He's very crafty, very technically sound, like I said, and he is tough. He's from a tough area himself in West Philadelphia, but I know he's going there to win. But are you going in there to make a statement? You made a huge statement last fight with Montiel, but now that everybody has to wait to watch you, you're the last fight of the night. Are you going in there to make a statement against the former champion?
Sí, y pues como vimos en tu última pelea contra Montiel, you know, fuiste y anunciaste tu nombre al mundo. ¿Esperas hacer eso contra tu pelea con J-Rock otra vez? You know, agarrar un knockout que se va viral o que la gente ya sepa quién es Carlos Adames.
Sí, es lo que tengo planificado. Te puedo informar que no, yo siempre salgo a ganar mi pelea, siempre salgo a dar lo máximo de mí, a dar lo que el público realmente quiere ver de mí, o sea, que es boxeo. Yo siempre voy a dar buena pelea, buenos combates, para que el público disfrute lo que pagó para ver esa pelea. O sea, yo pienso que esa noche con Julian Williams, eso va a ser una pelea bastante interesante, buen rival, pienso que tiene mucho que dar. Esa noche va a estar bien interesante, creo que va a ser una grande pelea esa noche.
Yeah, no, he said that's definitely the plan. You know, he wants to make another statement win that night against Julian Williams. He always, you know, Carlos Adames comes prepared to fight, you know, regardless, and wants to give the people a good performance. You know, they pay their hard-earned cash, so the least he can do is show them his boxing and show them a good fight. Julian Williams is a good opponent. Is going to be a great rival, and he's looking forward to, like you said, having that statement win.
Yeah, definitely a fight I'm looking forward to. Always look forward to a Bronco fight, but you're one knockdown away from being an undefeated fighter. What's the difference between the Carlos Adames I'm talking to right now and the one that fought Patrick Teixeira in 2019?
No, y pues Shane dice que siempre le interesa verte pelear. You know, cuando hay una pelea con Bronco, se emociona. Y estás solo tú, un knockdown te separa de ser invicto. You know, cuando peleaste con Patrick Teixeira, esa tirada fue la decisión de la pelea. ¿Qué es la diferencia entre este Carlos Adames que peleó contra Patrick Teixeira y el Carlos Adames que estamos hablando hoy en día?
Bueno, hay mucha diferencia porque, como te puedo decir una, te puedo decir otra, porque el Carlos Adames que peleó con Patrick Teixeira, pues te pudiera decir que era un Carlos Adames poco concentrado en su trabajo, invicto, siempre superaba a mis rivales por mucho. Entonces, en ese momento no estaba consciente de la responsabilidad que tenía y el deber que tenía, y por eso vino ese punto ahí en mi carrera, y por eso hoy en día no soy invicto. El Carlos Adames que tú estás hablando ahora es un Carlos Adames más maduro, más inteligente, que sabe que se debe a un público, a una responsabilidad, a una familia. Personas que sí tienen deseo de verme combatir, él mismo que cada vez que le dicen va a pelear Carlos Adames, se interesa por ver. O sea, es una responsabilidad mayor que tengo ahora, y pienso que es lo que ha marcado la diferencia de antes.
Yeah, no, so he says it's a huge difference from the Carlos Adames then against Teixeira to the Carlos Adames now. You know, one of the things being, you know, back then he was poorly focused. You know, didn't really understand the responsibility that came with fighting and representing, you know, his country and representing the sport, and wasn't preparing as well as he should have. You know, back in the day. Now he's more mature, more focused, and you know, he knows what it takes.
Oh yeah. And does the attention that Bob Santos is getting now, the positive attention from that stable and growing stable, is that something that he's happy about as well? Because, you know, for his gym and his trainer to finally get more recognition that they deserve.
Y hablando de tu entrenador, Bob Santos, él también está recibiendo mucha publicidad positiva recientemente. ¿Qué se siente de que tu entrenador también tenga muchos boxeadores con mucho talento y se están hablando de ellos igual que a ti?
Eso se siente muy bien porque eso va de la mano. O sea, detrás de un buen peleador siempre hay un gran entrenador. Bob Santos es un entrenador excelente. Yo dijera que no pudiera decir el mejor de lo que me ha entrenado a mí, pero está dentro de uno de los mejores que me ha entrenado a mí. Es muy responsable con su trabajo. Tiene esa parte que no la pierde. Cuando tiene su peleador, está enfocado completamente, se entrega completamente en su peleador, lo atiende con todo, con lo que come, con lo que corre, con lo que entrena. O sea, es un entrenador completo, puede decir que un entrenador completo. Él sabe cuando el entrenador necesita descanso, sabe cuando el entrenador sabe cuando el peleador tiene que entrenar duro. Pienso que Bob Santos es uno de los mejores entrenadores que hay ahora mismo en la actualidad y durará para mucho tiempo.
No, I mean, he says it feels good. All the things they're saying about Bob Santos, definitely behind every great fighter, there's a great trainer. And, Bob Santos is, one of the best that's trained him. He knows when to let him rest. He knows when to, let him push, knows when he needs to eat. So Bob Santos really focuses on his fighters and bringing the best out of them. And, he's happy that he's getting the recognition he deserves.
Hey, champ, you got 3 months to your fight, so you're not in full camp yet. When do you quit? When do you cut out the mango?
Y dice que aún faltan 3 meses para tu pelea. ¿Cuándo vas a cortar el mango?
No, ya, ya contamos el mangú, ya cortamos todo, ya lo que ahora estamos en el enfoque de la pelea, aunque faltan 3 meses, se ven mucho, pero al final son pocos. Tenemos todo el enfoque en la pelea, estamos haciendo los planes, tenemos todo los planos bien planificados para llegar al 100% a la pelea y dar lo mejor de nosotros arriba del ring. Pienso que ya el mangú será para cuando llegue el descanso de nuevo.
Así es. So no, he's starting now. He's cutting it now. No 3 months feels like a long time, but it'll be here before he knows it. So he's already preparing for the fight. 100% focused on the fight, and he's already making sure that he's prepared and brings the best out of him.
Yeah, you can't train and eat mango, bro. Last time I had it, I'm pretty sure I had a heart attack while I was eating it, but it's so fucking good, bro. It's so good. Have you ever had it?
No, I never had it.
Oh, dude, it's so good. It's like fried queso and like salami and like plantains and shit. It's so good. So fucking good. Yeah. Hey, last question before we get you out of here, champ. Who's the best person, not just in a fight, not just a fight, professional, amateur, sparring, ever? Who's the best person you've ever been in the ring with?
Y para tu última pregunta, campeón, antes que te dejemos ya que descanses, ¿cuál es la mejor persona que has compartido el ring, ya sea en sparring, en tus peleas amateuras, en peleas profesionales? ¿Quién consideras el mejor oponente?
Bueno, mi mejor oponente que tenga en toda mi carrera, yo te puedo decir que fue en 10 rounds de pura guerra. Yo puedo decir que Sergey Veranchenko es mi mejor batalla que he tenido. Nadie me ha dado tanta batalla. Y eso que Patrick Teixeira me ganó en una guerra, pero como de Veranchenko óyeme, no te puedo decir que esa ha sido una de mis peleas más complicadas porque tenía toda la atención, todo el público, toda la gente pendiente a qué iba a pasar en esa pelea, ¿sabes? Porque el que me conocía sabía que era una pelea dura, el que no me conocía pensaba que era una pelea fácil y nada, el mejor ganó esa noche y pienso que todavía esa fue mi pelea más dura.
Yeah, so he would say his best opponent, toughest opponent has been Sergey Derevyanchenko. It was 10 rounds of war. It was a fight that had the imagination of the boxing fans. Those that knew, both boxers knew it was going to be a hard fight. Others thought it was going to be, that they didn't really know boxing, thought it was going to be an easy fight. But Derevyanchenko was really great boxer, brought the best out of him, and he was able to get the victory that night.
Yeah, he's a tough son of a bitch. I know that much. I love asking that question. I had Kermit Cintrone on, and when he fought at 147, he said Emmanuel Stewart made him do 2 rounds with Vladimir Klitschko. I was like, what? He's out welterweight. He had to spar Klitschko. I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah, bro. Every time he would jab me, my head would ring. I was like, oh my God.
Y Shane dice que le gusta preguntar esa pregunta porque tuvo la oportunidad de entrevistar a Kermit Cintrone. Dijo que cuando él estaba en el peso 147, su entrenador le hizo pelear con uno de los Klitschkos, que ya es peso completo,
Yeah.
dos rondas. Y
Oh, no,
Coño.
entonces el entrenador no lo quería, realmente no lo quería.
he said the trainer must have not liked him.
It was Emmanuel Stewart. Yeah.
Era Emmanuel Stewart.
Yeah.
Y yo apuesto que si fuera hijo de él no lo pone.
He said he bets if it was his son, he wouldn't put him in fight a Klitschko.
When I had to spar out in Patterson, New Jersey, I went to this gym called Ike and Randy's. They weighed me when I got there, which is weird because I'm going into another gym just to get some light sparring. They weighed me. I weighed 163. They had me fight a dude who had 8 professional fights at middleweight. I'm like, what is this, bro? I got my ass beat for like 4 rounds. I threw up afterwards, dude. I was exhausted. I was like, dude, this is insane. But
Dice Shane que su experiencia, él una vez le tocó ir a un gym para sparring y lo pesaron ese mismo día. Shane pesaba 163 libras y lo pusieron con uno que era en tu división, un middleweight de 160. Y que no, pues lo tuvo a Shane vomitando después de esa pelea.
yeah. Yeah.
Yo hice un sparring muy bueno también con Benavides. Con Benavides hice un sparring, wow. Yo puedo decir que ese fue uno de mis mejores sparring que ha hecho en mi carrera también.
Yeah,
Sí.
so he's got similar stories that he has a sparring with Benavides. It's got to be one of his best sparring that he's got in his career.
David
David Benavides?
Sí.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
is he thinks he beats Plant on the 25th?
¿Crees que le va a ganar a Plant, Benavides? ¿Cómo ves esa pelea?
Me puedo reservar la pregunta porque son los dos amigos míos. No quiero.
Perfecto. No,
Hacer comentario.
no, he says they're both friends of him, so he's going to have to pass and not comment on it.
Well, Plant is one of my favorite fighters, but David is that's why it's a great fight because we don't know who's going to win.
Es una buena pelea, es una buena pelea y sin duda no cabe duda que es una buena pelea. Yo pienso que esa noche va a estar interesante porque son dos buenos peleadores.
Estoy de acuerdo.
Yeah. Who does he favor in the other big fights like Tang and Garcia or Bivol and Beterbiev? That's a good one.
Yeah, pues te vamos a dejar que pases y no contestes la de Benavides con Plant, pero te vamos a preguntar para las otras mega peleas que están ahorita hablando en el boxeo. ¿Qué opinas de, por ejemplo, Tank Davis contra Ryan García o Arthur Beterbiev contra Dimitri Bivol?
Bueno, yo pienso que Dimitri Bivol le gana a Beterbiev y el Tank Davis le gana a Ryan García.
So speaking, Bivol va a ganar. So.
Sí, Bivol le gana a Beterbiev.
Sí. He's picking Bivol and he's picking Gervonta Tank Davis for those mega fights.
Yeah, not just because he's my guest and because he scares the shit out of me, but I agree with him. I do agree with that. Yeah.
Y dice que Shane está de acuerdo contigo y no solo porque eres el invitado y porque te tiene miedo.
Hey, but thank you so much, Champ, for coming on. Good luck with camp. Of course, good luck with the fight. Do you want to thank any sponsors or anybody before we get you out of here?
Pues Carlos, de nuevo, muchas gracias por venir a nuestra plataforma. Deseamos mucho éxito en tu entrenamiento para esta gran pelea que va a ser en junio. Pero antes de que te vayas, ¿quieres anunciar algunos patrocinadores o dar un shout out a alguien?
No, por ahora no. Invitar al público de él que me sigan en mi canal de YouTube, @el Caballo Broncos, el Carlos Caballo Bronco Adames, que me sigan en mi página de YouTube, que ahí voy a estar dando todas mis informaciones en mi plataforma de mi preparamiento y para que sigan de cerca, muy de cerca, mi preparación de mi gran pelea.
Yeah, so he said that right now no shout out for sponsors, but he does want to give a shout out to all the people just to kind of be on the lookout for him. Go follow him on his social media, Instagram at ¿cómo es Caballo Bronco?
En mi YouTube, Carlos Caballo Bronco Adames. En mi YouTube y en mi Instagram, el Caballo Carlos Adames.
So Instagram is at Carlos Adames, and then he also has a YouTube page where he's going to be showing a lot of the clips for the preparation of it. So also give that a look.
But that's the full name. That one's Carlos Caballo Bronco Adames, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Full name for the YouTube. Yep.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Sorry, I said that shit white as hell. Güero. That's what they call me when I box. I was the only white guy in an all Mexican team. They call me Güero. But
que le llamaban el güero cuando boxeaba.
Cuando boxeaba. ¿Y ahora cómo le llaman? Ya no boxea.
What do they call you now that you don't box, Shane?
fucking Shane. There's still something usually involved with white. Like I'm pretty sure I can't remember who it was. Somebody sent me a screenshot of it. They're like, "Hey, would you like to go on this guy's podcast?" They're like, "Oh, I know him. That's that goofy white guy, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me, right?"
Y dice que por ahorita ya que casi todos le llaman Shane, pero a veces le dicen como el güero vacilón.
Ok.
Yeah.
Vacila mucho.
Ajá.
But hey, so when I give him his outro, should I call him a top 5 middleweight or the best middleweight? Which one's correct?
Y dice que ya ahorita para el otro, ¿cuál es el correcto? ¿Debería de llamarte como uno de los top 5 en la 160 o llamarte como el número 1 en la
Yo
160?
pienso que hay que llamarme el número 1. El top 5 estoy muy lejos. El número 1 la 160.
The number one's more appropriate.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much to the champ for being here. Give him a follow on the names he said on Instagram, Caballo Branco, and then on YouTube, Carlos Caballo Branco Adames. It's like Adams, but with an E right before the S. He is once again fighting on June 24th, main event on Showtime against former unified 154-pound champion Julian J. Rock Williams, former opponent of Jamal Tarlow and Jared Hurd. Very crafty, very skilled fighter. He is coming off of a win too. It's not like he's fighting a guy coming off a loss. He's coming off of a win. The best middleweight in the world. And if you disagree, you can tell him. Don't tell me. Tell him. Fucking say it then. But thank you so much for being on here. Thank you, Jose, for being on. Follow him as well at Mo Boxing. No problem. It's right there on his hat. MOBOXING. No problem. If I have to spell that one out, just don't even follow, bro. It's like
That's a problem.
yeah, that's a problem right there. And thank you once again to my sponsors, Feast Mode Flavors and Kamira Coffee. And thank you once again, champ, and good luck with everything.